Well, good morning, submariners, and welcome to the first test, I suppose you could call it. And what we've done here is we've put the boat in the water this morning, and we've added a little bit of weight here and there, and we've kind of got the water line almost perfectly where we want it. It's not ready for diving yet, but we've just got to get the water line correct, and we'll show you internally what we've done to achieve that. But let's just have a look at what we've done. Okay, what you can see here at the front here, we've got some of the old divers pellets here, and we've mixed that with a little bit of resin, and you can put a little bit more hardener in it than you would normally do, so it goes off really quickly, and that has set really hard, and we've done that also at the stern of the boat here, and you can see there's another load in here, and they're permanently fixed. Now also we've got some bags here which are manoeuvrable, which we can move about, so to speak, and that again they're filled with divers pellets again, and the same one there. Now you could, if you wanted to, actually resin those in if you want to, but what I tend to do is to take those out when we move around, so it's quite not so heavy. And also you can see here we've got the line of foam, which is basically on the widest part of the upper hull, because that's where the ballast tanks would be, and obviously almost near the water line. So there's a bigger distance between this foam and the weight at the bottom. Now that will mean to say that the boat will resist the temptation to move from side to side. It won't stop it, but it's the best way of achieving it. And you can see what I've had to do is I've had to add some foam on one side, because it's heavier on one side than it is on the other, and we've got lines of those along there. Now also there's a line of those on the other part of the hull, and you can see them, and I've had to add in more of this foam along here. Right, as you can see, we've pretty much got the waterline probably as correct as we can. You can see the waterline marks there, which I told you about, which are pretty important, and they're kind of almost correct, and that's kind of like how I would love it to be when she's at rest, and you can see that's pretty good. Okay, well, we can see the things are going around, and everything looks like it's operating. So now we're gonna kind of dive it for the first time and see what happens. Okay, we'll just give it a little test to see what the power's like. Oh, got plenty of power there. Ooh, plenty of power there. So let's just see what we can do with the tank and see what happens. So we've opened the tank now, and we hear a few bubbles coming out of it, and it's beginning to dive. And let's see how level it is. Looks like it's going down by the bow too much. Leveling out a bit now. Not too bad at the moment, but early days at the moment. Ballast tank's still filling up with water. Remember, this is just the first time we've done it. It looks like the stern's going down now. A lot of air coming out of it at the moment. We'll just stop that there now. Ooh, and it's gone right down by the stern, as you can see. Look at that. Look. Ooh, she's gone. Well, okay. That wasn't too successful, was it? Okay, so what did we deduce from that? Well, the thing about it is obviously the stern went down far too quickly, and left the bow behind. So what we got to do now is put a little bit of foam in the top half of the hull. Right, so because this part went down far too quickly, what we've got to do now is we're going to put some small bits of foam in the top part of this hull, not on the sides here, but on the top part, so that will hold this up while the bow catches up with the stern. So some small bits and pieces here, not much, and then we'll come back and see what we need to do then. Okay, I use this Celotex type foam. I don't know, wherever you live you can get a similar stuff, mainly used for insulation in houses. It's pretty awful stuff. As soon as you cut it, it crumbles into whatever, and it's a nightmare for the environment. So my opinion is make sure you hoover up properly and dispose of it properly. What I do then is, once I've cut it, because it becomes rather sort of crumbly, I then seal it with some of this Easy Coat, which is water based resin, which is really good, and you just seal it off, and then that makes it all seals it, and it's not crumbly anymore, and you can then just stick it straight in the hole where you want it, which I use some epoxy glue or something like that. Right, so these pieces are going to go in here, probably there and there. I'm going to glue those in, so we've got the Sano boom to avoid, but I'm going to put those in there. I kind of don't know whether that's going to be the right amount, but we'll soon find out when we put her in the water. If it's too much, then I'll have to cut a little bit out. So that's that. Okay, we've added some extra foam to the deck, and I'm just going to show you what that's done. It's kind of overcompensated, and I'll show you how we're going to correct that. Okay, as you can see now, I've put it at sort of a midpoint. You can see the bow's down, but the stern is still up. So what we're going to do now is we're going to add a few of these pellets, and we're just going to shove them on the back and see what happens. Oh, as you can see, it's just beginning to equalise. So it probably wants a few more grams on there than that. We've got a sort of lead penny here. Put that on there. It's a little bit, probably a little bit more than that, and probably looks like it wants it even a little bit more than that. But you can see the principle. Not quite level yet. I've got rid of the hole in the for the valve, and I put in these very small pinholes in the top, and there's even one on the conning tower, which I noticed also there was a little bit of an air getting trapped in there, and then two here, as you can see, and then on the other section you can see there's holes there. This one is for the float, as you can see, and that looks kind of cool, and you don't notice that, so that's what I've had to do. Right, and now you can also see the extra solenoid valve I've actually put in to give enough air to prevent the vacuum being when the air pumps on, and that actually works now. I've actually tested it, which is good. Okay, well that hopefully sorts out all the problems that we had initially with when we put it in the tank, and that's what you've got to do. Some of the things when you put it in there, they kind of don't work, or you have to change things around and make changes to it. So hopefully now I've got all that corrected, and it should be kind of ballasted to where I want it. And as I said beforehand, at full tanks, when the water's in here in this tank and it's up to that float switch there and switches it off, which is what I want, full tank, I don't want any more water in it, we need it to be sort of here on the conning tower, like that, so that any time if you let go of the sticks on it like that, or something, it should resume its natural buoyancy at around about here, so you can get your air into it via your snort valve. That's the theory behind it. And as beforehand, we've got these controllable fins here, which should help when we're diving. So everything should be ready now to put it back in the tank, and we can see where we are from them. I'm also in the process of changing over transmitters to another transmitter, so I'm just going to do that now, which is just a preference thing for me. I'm just going to do that now, and then we'll show you what it's like in the tank. And then once we've done that and I'm happy with that, then hopefully I can show you some videos of the boat in the water, which would be great. It's been quite a long time, isn't it? But yes, as I say, you must get these things correct in a tank at home. Don't try and do it in your local lake, because it's just not going to work. You're just too dodgy. You must sort out the problems, make sure all your leaks are cured, and you're really happy with it before you take it down to your local pond. So we'll see you in a minute. Well, good morning. I've done a little bit more testing, and now's the time to put my money where my mouth is. So today I've got my sugar ball ready to put on the float, and we're going to be running off to the lake in a few moments when I get my jacket, and we're going to give her first run and see how she runs, and then it'll be back to the workshop to give you a report on what happened, and hopefully you can see some video of her in the water unless she sinks with all hands. So I'll just give you a final shot of her ready to load in a van, and then on the next video we'll show you hopefully some good shots of her in the water, and then it'll be the weathering. Simple, won't it? See ya. Final shot of her before the committal, and it's looking pretty good now. So let's hope she goes as good as she looks.